Okay, so more book bans from Florida. So, the latest victim is a graphic novel based on Anne Frank's diary. And ironically, the group that wanted it pulled is a group called Moms for Liberty. How ironic that a group that has liberty in their name is calling for a banning of a book. But anyway, a high school along Florida's Atlantic coast has removed a graphic novel based on the diary of Anne Frank after a leader of a conservative advocacy group challenged it, claiming it minimized the Holocaust. And you will never guess why they think it minimizes the Holocaust. Anne Frank's diary, the graphic adaptation, was removed from a library at Vero Beach High School after a leader from Moms for Liberty, totally ironic, which conservatives are good at, in Indian River County, raised an objection. The school's principal agreed with the objection, and the book was removed last month. The book at one point shows the protagonist walking in a park enchanted by female nude statues and later proposing to a friend that they show each other their breasts. Under the school's district policy, the principal makes the decision on challenged book. If someone disagrees with the decision to keep the disputed book on the shelves, it can be appealed to a district-wide committee. The Anne Frank graphic novel had been checked out twice before it was removed. Kristen Maddox, a spokeswoman for the school district of Indian River County, said Monday. Let's see. Other books about Anne Frank and copies of the published diary she wrote chronicling her time hiding from the Nazis with her family and other Jews in German-occupied Amsterdam remains in the school system's libraries. The Jewish teenager's diary was published in 1947, several years after she died in a concentration camp, and it has become a classic read by tens of millions of people around the world. By law, Florida schools are required to teach about the Holocaust, and nothing has changed in that respect. The feedback that the Holocaust is being removed from the curriculum and students aren't knowledgeable about what happened, that is not the case at all. It's just a challenged book, and the principal removed it. Besides the Anne Frank graphic novel, Moms for Liberty in Indian River County objected to 3 books in the Assassination Classroom series, and they also were removed. But it doesn't go into detail about what those books are. Moms for Liberty leader Jennifer Pippin said the Anne Frank graphic novel violated state standards to teach the Holocaust accurately. Which I'm guessing means that daring to imply that Anne Frank had a life before the Holocaust, or that she didn't stop living, even though they were in hiding. Yeah, that's just minimizing the Holocaust. Did these people read the Diary of Anne Frank? I would love to know if they even actually read that book. All right. Even her version featured the editing out of the entries about sex, Pippin said, referring to the original diary. So because her father edited out certain things, that somehow means that it's okay. Does she honestly think Anne Frank edited her diary? What? Her father might have, because, it was her father who found the diary, but what? Even the publisher of the book calls it a biography, meaning it writes its own interpretive spin. Okay, I'm starting to think that this woman does not know what words mean. It's not the actual work. It quotes the work, but it's not the diary in full. It chooses to offer a different view on the subject. Translation: this is what I heard about the Diary of Anne Frank, and this doesn't look like what I was told the book was about, so I'm going to say that this is made up. Good God. Published in 2018, the graphic novel was adapted from Anne Frank's diary by Ari Folman, and David Polonsky provided the illustrations. Folman's parents are Holocaust survivors. And of course, children of Holocaust survivors are notorious for minimizing the Holocaust. When contacted by email, the book's publisher, Pantheon Graphic Library, forwarded the inquiry to Yves Kugelman, a board member of a foundation set up by Anne Frank's father, Otto, devoted to distributing Anne Frank's diary and other matters. Kugelman didn't immediately respond to questions. The American Library Association reported last month that there were more than 1,200 demands to censor library books last year in the U.S., the highest number since the association began tracking more than 20 years ago. Now, again, conservatives are really good at picking ironic names. I mean, Moms for Liberty. There's nothing about liberty that says book ban. That's number one. Number two, it's obvious that the fact that Anne Frank, who was a teenager, thought about sex. I mean, seriously, Anne Frank didn't just start writing the diary when she was in hiding. Or, I read the diary many, many years ago. So I don't remember many details or any. But even if this was just a fantasy of hers, still, if it's in her diary, then what is the problem? She's a teenager. Obviously, she's going to have these thoughts. Most teenagers do start to have a sexual awakening. The hormones do tell them that they want to have sex, or they notice that, girls are developing breasts. And it's only natural that they're curious if they're developing at the same rate as friends. I mean, I remember being in junior high and, comparing myself to the girls around me. And I'm pretty sure that wasn't just a me thing. I'm sure that there were plenty of other girls who were wondering. I've heard that boys do that too. So, even if this wasn't technically how it went in her diary, even if it was just a artistic license based on her words, still, the fact she has these thoughts. She is a teenage girl. She had crushes. She had everything that most teenage girls do. She went through. Just because she was in hiding because of the Holocaust doesn't mean that her mind was a blank slate and all she thought about were the Nazis. That's not the way this works. That's not the way life works. So it is odd though that this foundation didn't respond. So it could very well be that Otto himself didn't want to have any sexual situations from Anne's diary published. That's entirely possible. But of course he would. It's his kid. He doesn't want to think about his daughter having these thoughts or exploring her sexuality. He's her father. Of course he's not going to want that. That is not any proof that what this graphic novel did was wrong. Because and this woman who from Moms for Liberty made it sound like Anne Frank edited her own diary. which makes you really wonder who's minimizing the Holocaust now. You don't even know who Anne Frank is, because if you did, you would know she didn't edit her own diary. Why? Because it's her own freaking diary. She did not self-censor. Her father might have censored it, but again, it's her father. Of course he's not going to want to see those things. She didn't censor shit. She didn't edit shit. Why? Because she was dead. That is why her diary is so famous. It's not necessarily the words in it. It's the fact that we can read words of someone who didn't survive the Holocaust in their own words. That's it. That is why that book is famous. This woman is claiming that the Holocaust should be respected, which it should. But at the same time, she's proving she knows nothing about the book. She knows nothing about it. She doesn't know who Anne Frank is. Why do I know that? Because she thinks she edited her own damn diary. When did she edit it? When she was dead? This book was published years after she was dead. I'm not 7 years. What exactly does she think? Where does she think that Anne Frank had the time to edit it? Did Otto use a Ouija board to call her up in a seance? What? And ask her, oh, do you really want this in here? I mean, even if that was a thing, she would probably agree with him because, oh my God, my dad is reading my diary. That's mortifying. Because the diary is meant to be your most intimate personal thoughts that you really don't want your parents knowing about. Even if they were actually cool with her exploring her sexuality, you still get the icks. So, no. Even if that were the case, she would be talking to her father, so you can't take that seriously. Now, so I'm just disappointed they didn't say what other books. Actually, I'm going to look that up right now because I'm really curious what other books they wanted to get rid of. All right, let's see. Let me see if I can find the rest of the... Yeah, that doesn't tell me anything. Oh, that's last year. This is more up to date. I'm not finding it. For some reason, I'm not finding any of the other books, which sucks, but, let me try this. Alright, let's try that. It's manga? Oh my god, you've got to be fucking kidding me. Well, I can guess what all of these have in common. Alright. Let's see which one. I'm not finding the specifics books. But if it's manga, manga is known for their sexually explicit um content. So yeah, that's probably what these all have in common, that oh my god, these people in these horrible situations might still be sexual. So yeah, it's not because it minimizes the Holocaust. That's a bunch of bullshit. They just don't like that there might be a book out there for young adults who talks about sex and changing bodies, because God forbid, children would be interested in materials teaching them about their changing bodies, or that they would learn that someone in a horrible situation might actually be thinking about things like her changing bodies and not necessarily just 24/7 thinking about the Nazis not catching them. I mean, it's just mind-boggling that they somehow think that because they don't want teenagers to have thoughts about their bodies, and because they seem to sexualize everything because they're probably repressed, they're just the thought of a girl wanting to compare breasts with her friend is somehow horrible and minimizing the Holocaust. I mean, it's so stupid. Banning books in general is stupid. I've mentioned this before in other videos. I'm not even against banning horrible things like Mein Kampf or the Protocols of the Elders of Zion, as horrible as they are, because I'm not against book bans. Now, will I mock you incessantly for reading it and believing those books? Oh, yes, I will. But will I say that you're not allowed to read them? No, no. Go for it. Because, the knowledge is out there. You make your own decisions. Yes, there are consequences for making the wrong decision, but it's still your decision. And same thing here. This group is taking that decision away from other people. And like I said, it's so ironic that they call themselves Moms for Liberty, because there's nothing about liberty, there's nothing screaming liberty here about a book ban. Nothing at all. I just don't know what these people are afraid of. Okay, kids might learn about their bodies. They might learn that girls wonder about their developing breasts. Even a girl who ends up hiding from Nazis notices that her body changes, because life doesn't stop, her maturing doesn't stop just because she's in hiding. That's not the way any of this works. So yeah, just more stories of shitty conservatives being shitty. And, yeah, it's just too bad that this article didn't go into the specific books in the Assassination Classroom series, but once I found out it was manga, sorry. Once I found out it was manga, yeah. I know that manga does a lot of sexually explicit content, and oh, God forbid we would expose our teenagers to that because, it's not like they have access to it in other ways. So I don't know why you're stopping them. I mean, they're going to find a way to get it. But anyway, that's all I have for this video, and I will see you guys next time.